The Lot Pod is kindly sponsored by Fast Signs. Fast Signs are an established family-run business who have been providing businesses around Leeds and West Yorkshire with effective signs and graphics for almost 30 years. Fast Signs are passionate about helping customers make a statement with signs that are eye-catching, effective and delivered fast.
How do you think Brodie Croft looked today?
Thought he looked like Brodie Croft, but in a better coloured jersey.
Leeds has won back-to-back rugby league titles. The golden generation finally has its golden fleece. No England game, it seems, is complete without a Ryan Hall try. Jamie Peacock.
Kevin Sinfield.
Rob Burrow.
Jamie Jones Buchanan for Leeds.
It's one of the most popular beards in rugby league now.
There aren't many in Super League that can do that.
We just want to be a great friend, and if we can all try and be a bit of a better friend from time to time, I think we have a bit of a better place to live in.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17A podcast, kindly sponsored by Fast Signs. I'm your host Eddie, because I never tell anyone my name. My name is Eddie, and it's now time for a weekly roundup of all things Leeds Rhinos. Joining me as always, my right-hand man, my co-host, but our amazing stats man, Statman Reese.
I'm a stat man.
Freeze.
How the devil are you?
I'm very good. You know when you've had 2 really crap nights of sleep and then you have like an oversleep? I'm in that phase at the moment. Might have fallen asleep on the way home from London with work on the train the other day, but I got off at the right stop, which was good.
Aberdeen. You woke up in Aberdeen.
God, can you imagine? Now I woke up at Wakefield, which is probably advisable.
Yeah, always wake up in Wakefield. You never know what you're gonna find in Wakey. Let's be honest. I think a good place to start is our new latest Glyn Bell. The Lot Pod meets Glyn Bell Part 2 became available last night. What day are we on now? Wednesday.
It's Wednesday evening. No, Wednesday evening.
It was been available since Tuesday. It's an absolute bumper episode. It was just amazing to film it. Do you agree?
It was. I mean, part 1 is currently on track to be our biggest video ever on YouTube. Our biggest video on YouTube ever is the loss to Wakefield last year. So it'd be really nice for our biggest video ever to be part 1 with Glyn. But no, it was brilliant. And for part 2, me and you sat, individually looked through it and thought, we can't cut any of this out. We're going to try cut it down to make it a bit shorter, but we're like, nah, sod it. Let's just put the whole video out because there's so much just great knowledge from Glyn, from the shirts and the meanings behind them, and there's some great shirts in there as well. So we didn't want to cut anything out in the end. So make sure you go and check them both out, and make sure you make one of these videos of both the biggest videos on YouTube for us.
Let's hit that 1,000. Let's hit that 1,000 views on both videos. That was a difficult thing. Obviously, we released part 1. That went down an absolute storm. Loads of really nice feedback and lots of really nice comments, not just about the video, but more importantly, about Glyn, because he is 100% a Leeds Rhinos champion and a Leeds Rhinos legend. But then when we were discussing part 2, the three of us, like you said, it was just so difficult to, because it were a bumper. So we're recording for, it's the whole thing really, innit? We didn't touch it because we just couldn't find a part where we're like, I don't want to slice any of this up.
No, there wasn't. There was one bit I did want to slice up, which is when I confidently ran to the laundry room to pick up the shirt that I thought Glyn was talking about, only for that shirt to be completely the wrong one. It was the right colour. It was the right colour. But that shirt brought a story because it had a Mr. Eastman on the back of it, didn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it still brought a story.
Yes, so everyone head over to our YouTube channel, The Lot Pod. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and please do watch both parts with Glyn Bell. And it's something that kind of behind the scenes stuff we want to lean into more of that, don't we, Reese?
Yeah, we're obviously planning on what's next because I think that's always the question now, is it? Now we've started this, what's next? We've got our eye on some other unsung heroes within the club that we want to try do the same with. So we're gonna hopefully they've seen it. Obviously they retweeted Glyn's video as well, the part 1. So hopefully we can start speaking to other unsung heroes in the club and telling what their role is and why it's so important.
And the only way to find out what's next and when it gets uploaded is subscribing to our YouTube channel, The Lot Pod. Please go over and do subscribe. On to club news. Would you like to start there, or the whole club news?
Yeah, so obviously as this section is the news section of what's happened since we last spoke, and it's also our opportunity to cover what's happened in all the other teams as well in the Rhinos network. It's still a bit light at the moment because we're still waiting for the other teams to kick off, but what we did have, as well as the men's last weekend, was the netball team, who unfortunately haven't managed to win their first game of the season yet. They lost their first home game of the season to Cardiff Dragons 54-55. So an incredibly close game.
It's such a close game.
Very close. So they are at home again this weekend at University of Huddersfield, and that is on. And I can't even see what the date is. It's at 3 p.m. But I can't see what date it's
3 p.m. We don't know what day.
They haven't put the date on the website. Hang on, let me have a look. It's on Saturday against Strathclyde Sirens at University of Huddersfield. But we do have another Leeds Rhinos team playing on the weekend on Saturday the 9th of March. The reserves have their first game of the season. So I always find it weird when it says head coach Tony Smith, but that's the name of the head coach for the reserve team. They kick off their season at Leopards away on Saturday at 2:00, and that's being played at Leigh Miners Rangers ground. The interesting thing to note about that reserves game is that there was a story on Yorkshire Evening Post this week that we have brought in a rugby union winger.
What did you make of that?
Josh Gillespie.
You are a union and a league man. Do you think it's a good idea? Because obviously any union convert, anyone that does come over to the lighter side of rugby, there's nothing on the cap for the first year. They're a free hit, and then I think the second year it's 50%. Do you think it's worth the Rhinos kind of taking a look at a winger?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about this guy, and I say guy, he's a kid. Really, you know, he's aged 18 days and 15 days to be really accurate. Well, that was when this article was released, anyway. But you know, I think wing is one of those roles in rugby league and rugby union that is quite interchangeable. You know,
agreed.
So I think the change between the codes is probably a bit easier, and he's 18. So look, if there's great young talent out there, it doesn't really matter what code they are. If we get the opportunity to give them a trial and see what happens, then we might as well do it. So I'll be really interested to see how he gets on. Obviously, I'm not gonna go into the game, unfortunately, but we'll have to find out for some people that either do go or from the club what their impression is of him
and how he goes. Yeah.
And how he goes, yes. It'll be really, really interesting. And then to finish the news this week, unfortunately, we had the sad news that Lewis Jones passed away. Lewis was in 3 Hall of Fames, I'll have you know. He was in the Rugby League Hall of Fame. He was in the Leeds Rhinos or Leeds Rugby Hall of Fame. And he was also inducted into the Welsh Sports Hall of Fame Roll of Honour as well. So that gives you a bit of an idea of how big this guy was in not just Leeds history, but rugby league and also Welsh history. 385 appearances for Leeds, scoring 144 tries. He kicked 1,244 goals and ultimately leading to scoring 2,920 points. He played for Great Britain Rugby League 15 times, including touring in 1954 and playing in 1957 World Cup in Australia. And I thought Gary Hevington put some really nice words, and I'm just going to read out what he said. And he said, Headingley will not be the same without Lewis. He never missed a Rhinos home game, and he remained as passionate as ever about his team, who was one of rugby's first superstars in the 1950s and achieved legendary status within Leeds and within rugby league. He'll be sadly missed, and we will celebrate his life with our fans at our next home game.
Just incredibly sad. Lewis seemed to be someone who'd immortal, like he'd live forever. He was always there, always so knowledgeable, and always so friendly. And I did genuinely find it quite upsetting when the news came through, because Lewis just reminds me of my granddad, and I'm sure people listening to this, dads, grandparents, grandmothers, they'll have similar stories to me. But I just instantly thought of my granddad, and we're like, wow, he'd be devastated to hear that, because he was his first hero. So it was almost like, I've said before how my granddad used to go on about Scully to me when I was a young lad and how good Scully was. But initially, even before Scully, he used to tell me how good Lewis was. Lewis would make every rugby league team, when you put together a Leeds best 13, he wouldn't just get into the Leeds side, he'd get into the best ever Great Britain side, the best ever Welsh side. He was an immortal. They talk about immortals over in Australia a lot, but over here, Lewis is one of ours. Not just for Leeds, but for Britain, and an incredibly, incredibly sad loss.
Yeah, I agree. I think the measure of the man is measured by the fact, from the Leeds Rhinos' perspective, he was one of the first players inducted into the Leeds Rugby Hall of Fame. We've got a plethora of players that could be in that Hall of Fame, but he was one of the first ones. So
won our first championship in 1961, our first ever.
Yep, he did.
Championship. Lewis played a big part in that.
Really he won that, and he won something else as well, didn't he? I thought. I can't remember. I can't find it now. I did look, but yeah, no. Helped us win our first title in 1961. And he helped us lift the Challenge Cup at Wembley in 1957. There we go. He lifted it. In Challenge Cup in 1957. Anyway,
amazing player.
Moving on. So yeah, so I said news, but at the home game at St Helens, I think the players will be wearing black armbands, and there will be a tribute to him that day as well. So to round 4 of the Super League season. Rhinos team news came out today, so just a bit of a timestamp on this. This is 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night, so if anything's changed since then, this will be out of date. But there's 2 big changes sort of in the squad. Mick Elialedzki is back, and he replaces James Bentley in the squad, and Daryl Alforts is also back, and with Ned McCormack dropping out as well, I imagine he'll be in the reserves game on Saturday. So not too many changes. What are your thoughts? We should probably start with Bentley's ban, actually. We
might as well start with James Bentley. We discussed on the... who did we play? Who did we play?
Catalan.
On the Catalan review that me, you and Phil all kind of decided it's going to be a minimum of 2 games. I think I even said 3 with previous.
Yeah.
So how did you feel when it was only the 1 game ban for Bento?
I was pleased it was only 1, because it was with force, with direct contact to the head, and with Bentley's history, that felt straight to a 2 to a 3. Again, I'm a bit confused, and I know we've obviously had a slightly change of heart in the RFL, but obviously Lasona gets 3 games for what he did, and I'd argue that Bentley's is worse.
Balmy, absolutely balmy. But anyway, we got away with it.
Yeah, we got away with it. So look, I think having him only being banned for 1 game is good. But I think the frustration in me, if I'm going to have a little moan, is that where does Tarek Sims not get a ban for this, because he flopped in direct contact to the head twice in the game. One in the try scoring, but I think the one when we scored the try was a bit harsh. But Bentley doesn't elbow him in the head, which we said on the match review that he doesn't need to do. He can still react about doing that, but he doesn't do that without Tarek Sims flopping on him and putting an elbow in his head.
It's a reaction, which is what we spoke about on the review pod. It's a reaction from Sims' initial hit on him. I didn't expect more. I thought Rowan spoke highly of James and the ban, which he's never going to come out and say, "Oh yeah, Black."
But did you see James Bentley's reaction to it on Instagram?
Yeah,
I think he put something, every day's a school day or something like that, and I think that Rowan was definitely supporting Bentley when he was talking about it in the press conference, saying he will be
Definitely.
targeted. And I think something along the lines of that, he has to learn how to react.
How to react to
And
that.
but it's nothing new, is it? He always gets targeted. But I think I've reflected still on the game last week, and I think I now wear more on the side of that I enjoyed Bentley's performance more than I was annoyed at it. I think I've finally come to a decision on that. But no, it was nice to hear Rowan backing him up, as any good coach would do.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think there's going to be a miss for this game?
Well, my gut instinct's no, because McDonnell.
Yeah, James is straight back.
And we said last year, we've talked about it quite a lot in the previous few weeks, McDonnell was given one opportunity and he never let up.
He just grabbed it with both hands. That was it.
Yeah, which is a great place to be in, because, if McDonnell is fit, he takes that spot back. It's great to have competition for places. And Bentley would get in quite a lot of the teams in Super League, so to have that depth is brilliant. So, but no, I would back McDonnell to rise to the opportunity and not back down.
Absolutely. And I think if Bentley's going to miss a game, Leigh is probably a game where you can take Bentley out, particularly if it means he's back for Saints at home. Because everyone knows he hates Saints. So he's going to come back all rested and ready to rip James Bell and Johnny Lomax in half. So I'm excited for that, because he's definitely a Saints hater, and I feel if there is a game to be banned, Leigh, London, Cass, those are the ones we can maybe put up with it, barring injuries. Interesting that Michalецki's in the side. Do you believe he's in the side? He's in the squad, which is easy. But do you think he's really going to play, Reese?
Are you asking me if Rowan Smith is pulling our leg again?
Again.
Yeah. I don't know. They said it was close for last week, didn't they? And it comes down to, again, if there's even the slightest bit of doubt of whether he's fit enough, then he shouldn't play. Again, if we're with Saints on the horizon, and with the way that our pack played on Saturday against Catalan, I'm quite confident that if he's not 100% fit, that I'd quite happily say, you know what, just give it another week, Mick. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, there's still less, there's still a bit of less depth if Mick doesn't play, because obviously we're losing. We've lost Bentley in the second row, but I think I'm going to say that if he's even a slight bit of a niggle, just leave it.
I think you save him regardless. I think you give him an extra week just to get him prepped for Saints at home. I think that's the thing. I know you can't take your eyes off the next game, and I agree with that, but
Leigh are no mugs, though. Leigh are no mugs.
No, they are, and I'm kind of making them out to be mugs.
Yeah, you are. That's what I just want to put out there. I just don't want to.
We don't need Bentley. We don't need a Ledsky. But I think with Mick, I think giving him the extra. My only concern, as I've mentioned before, is it's the same shoulder that he's had previous injury and problems with. So I'd be more inclined to kind of, in these earlier rounds, give him a longer rest and more opportunity to play more games as the season progresses. And I think with the former Gudemont, who were
and the former Sangare, Sangar's been great in the last two games, and I almost think a confidence booster for Sanga to keep him in the starting lineup. To say, you know what, we wouldn't ordinarily keep him out, but you've been playing well, so that to the extent where we're not rushing Ledsky back, and that I think that's a compliment to Sanga if he stays in. Gudemond, I just love. I don't know if you've seen the behind the game today.
Yeah, everyone's talking about it today, aren't they?
Yeah, whether I think I'm guessing it's his mum at the end. I may be wrong. So. Having that emotional moment after the game, which is brilliant, and it's great to see. But I think you've said last week that you think Gudemond will become a fan favourite, and he's not a player that's going to set the world alight, but I think everyone in the crowd appreciates someone that puts 110, 15% in, and there's no doubt that you'll get that from Gudemond, plus with good effort and good quality as well.
What would be your... Does the side pick itself here? Is there any changes that you'd throw in that's perhaps not...
The only change to the starting 13 is McDonnell for Bentley.
The rest of it picks itself.
Yeah, I don't see the need to drop Lewis Roberts with Darryl
I was
Alford's
going
coming
to say
back.
you wouldn't drop.
No,
Keep him there. I would. I'd without a shadow of a doubt, I'd keep him there.
I think Roberts has improved week on week. I think the scores and the ratings that we do each week backs that up. People are showing that he's playing better. I thought defensively he kept Tom Johnson out last week with the help of Newman, but kept Tom Johnson out last week, one of the best wingers in the league. So again, reward that good gamesmanship, that good play that we're seeing, an improvement, and keep him in the squad, because I think it'd be quite deflating for Roberts if Alfords came back in straight away.
Precisely. Rowan has to reward Lewis for his efforts to say, look, sticking with you. But particularly with Alfords being back again, if he says no, I'm sticking with you, that gives Lewis the confidence then to say, oh my, he's picking me over another winger who, with more experience. That gives Lewis that boost to be like, you know what, maybe I am a Super League player, maybe I can.
It's a homecoming game for him as well. Of all the games that he will want to play, this will be one of the games that he wants to play the most. So I'm not saying that Roberts is the best winger we've got, because what we did forget to mention in the round one, which I've just reminded myself of, is Ash Hanley. But he's not set the world alight. But again, he's got better week on week, so why not give him a confidence booster and keep him in the squad until Fussy 2 is back? And if he makes a mistake, if Alfords is fit and ready to step in.
Yeah, precisely.
Ash Hanley? Trialist. Ash Hanley, yeah. So you've been, at the beginning of the season, saying some really strange and delusional try predictions.
I think they're all really, really accurate.
I'm going to now tell you that your Ash Hanley prediction is coming... Well, how much did he say? How many tries did you think Ash was going to score this year?
35, I think I said.
35, I think. Right, so he's 5 tries in 3 games, obviously top of the league at the moment.
He's definitely... Oh my God, I need to change my prediction. 55.
So he's on 1.67 tries a game at the moment, 27 rounds in Super League. So he's currently on track to make 45 tries this year. So you've actually under-predicted, to be fair.
I have. God, I'm so sorry, Ashley. Friend of the pod, of course.
Of course, yeah. And he's made 509 metres. I know I've said otherwise in other pods, but that's Super League's problem, not mine. They're changing the stupid numbers. So I'm going to have a word with them about that. But he's averaging 169 metres a game.
That is mental,
which if we, again, put out for the rest of the season, if Ash has an injury-free season and has that many metres per game, he's going to make 4,500 metres this season.
Wow.
That's play of the month numbers, isn't it? It's play of the month
numbers, play of the season numbers. 169 metres a game. That's NRL numbers, that.
Yeah, 169, 5 tries, 3 games.
Josh will be listening to this, Jingle Josh, and he'll be saying that this is NRL stuff. If Ash plays like this rest of the year, he's going to get a move to NRL.
Just don't. Yeah, go on, Ash. Just after. No. Yeah, just play as well as you want, Ash. Keep going.
What was it? Try of the month, player of the month combo.
Yeah,
I bet that's never been done in Super League before. Who's the stats man for the whole of Super League? I bet that's never been done before.
I mean, I've got all of Super League's player stats, but I haven't got the awards. But I wouldn't take your bet on. I reckon you're probably right.
I bet no one has done that before.
And got try of the week as well in the first week, 2 rounds of the season.
With 2 tries in for try of the month.
Yeah.
No one's done that before. No way. Ash is officially one in a generation player. Best
Absolutely.
in the league. Best wing in the league, without a doubt. So for the bench, the 13 picks itself. I think we agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We agree with that picks itself. I don't feel we have to talk through that. I feel Leeds fans listening to this are well aware that 13.
Yeah.
In terms of the subs, I think that's where you could potentially leave.
You can pick and choose a bit here. I think Jared's the first one on the bench every time.
Is this Statman Reese's bench? Because I asked this to Chris last week and said, "What's your bench? Not Rowan's. What's your bench?"
Yeah. So this is my bench. Jared is one. Mm-hmm. Holroyd is another.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Aledzki. I'm
putting him in?
I'm on the impression that he wasn't fit enough last week, but he's fit enough this week. So I'll go Oledsky.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Again, Leon Ruin. You know, again, he had a good game last week. He got more minutes. You know, I don't see the reason to not include him.
So are you starting Gudemond?
I'll be starting Gudemond and Sanga, yeah.
In the pack, and then having Mick and Tom bench.
Yeah, just because they're both on the road back from injury, and you know we saw Sanga has improved again. Gudemond's just been class, so you know reward their form. They did well against probably arguably one of the biggest packs in the league on Saturday, so back them to do it again, but with even better players coming off the bench in a Holroyd and Gudemond and Oledsky.
Are you starting to see Leon Ruin now ahead of Tom Nicholson-Wotton?
I think it comes down to the same thing we've said about McDonnell. You've got to take the opportunity when it arises, and I think now. But my question always was, if not now, then when for Nicholson-Wotton?
Yeah.
And now Oledsky's back fit, Holroyd's back fit, Gudemond's playing the form that we're seeing as a prop. Sanga's been playing better than we've seen. I just don't see at the moment where the opportunity comes for him. And Ruin took his opportunity, you know, and he has taken his opportunities in the past as well. You know, last year played against Wakefield, got a try. He's obviously got more minutes.
Stop mentioning that Wakefield game, please.
Sorry. But you know, I thought he was good on Saturday as well with more minutes. So again, I don't see a reason to drop him.
Great step around
Fuad Yaha. I just don't see the reason to drop him.
I think
why would you?
No, I agree that Ruin's definitely taking his chance, but like I've said before, I think Nicholson-Wotton will do exactly the same. Obviously, his time isn't yet. His time isn't now. But when he does play, I think he's going to kill it. I think he's going to.
I do wonder whether that 70. You could almost do like a week in, week out. Just rotate that 17th man between Ruin and Little Tom. But that would have to be something that Rowan controls. But again, I'm all for rewarding performances when you see them. Yeah. So I think if Ruin doesn't perform this week, then it brings Little Tom straight back into it. But I just don't see the reason why you would drop him at the moment. And with the reserves coming back on the weekend, you know, Nicholson-Wotton will still get game time.
Yeah. As soon as he gets his chance, I'm adamant he'll take it with both hands. Anything else that we miss on before we wrap this up?
No, just obviously Leigh, a small bit of team news from Leigh. Obviously, we know there's no John Aziata there from that perspective, and no Tom Briscoe by the sound of things. So they are a little bit like themselves. But if anyone is going and is going on their own, I am also going on my own. So if you want to come stand with me in the stand, let me know. So that I'm not a loner.
You'll find a friend, don't worry.
Oh, I always do. To be fair, but yeah, no. Other than that, nothing else from me.
Right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Do follow us on X at @StatmanReese at Lot17A. Do follow us on YouTube. Head to YouTube, search the Lot Pod, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and we will see you all for the match review panel at the weekend. See you then. Take care.